Now I am at Mumbai International Airport, India. This is one of the best airports in the world. Time is 1 o'clock in the morning. My journey is going to start from here. This journey is to Tanzania. My flight to Tanzania is at 5 o'clock in the morning. The airplane just took off from Mumbai. I had reached Mumbai yesterday from Kochi. My next destination is Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. From there I have to take another flight to Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. And from there I am supposed to take a domestic flight to Arusha city. In this journey, we'll be visiting Lake Manurara, Ngorongoro, Mount Kilimanjaro, and then from there, we would move to Dar es Salaam and Zanzibar Island. The first thing I see outside after a long napping is that of the inky Ethiopian soil. We can see farmlands and turfs down there, and metal-roofed houses in between. Most of my co-passengers are Indians. The flight is landing to Ethiopia's capital Addis Ababa after a 5-hour-long journey. I have to take another flight from here to the famous city of Dar es Salaam. We can see apartment complexes of Addis Ababa down there. I have been to Addis Ababa before, but each time this land excites me to come back again and again. The world discusses mainly about Ethiopia's poverty and old-fashioned lifestyle. But there is something ecstatic that attracts tourists to visit here. The fog is getting heavier as on landing and that is fading out my visuals. Finally, landed in Addis Ababa International Airport. The weather is cold out there. Usually it is winter in Central Africa during the months of June, July and August. Here, the weather conditions are similar to winter at the time when it is that of summer in Europe. The passengers are getting prepared to deboard the flight. 90% of my co-passengers are from India. Many Indians are working in various parts of Africa. There are regular flights of Ethiopian Airlines and South African Airlines from India. This shivering kind of weather condition is totally unexpected, especially in an African country, that too during this period. I didn't take my sweater or jacket as my calculations about the African climate got totally collapsed. The fleet of Ethiopian Airlines is humongous. We can see a series of giant and modern aircrafts, which makes this as one of the biggest airline companies in Africa. We are moving on to the terminal. Addis Ababa Airport also excites me as that of the Ethiopian Airlines. While talking about Ethiopia, usually the picture came out in our mind is that of a starving kid eating waste for the survival, people with big eyes and bone-traced body, and all such unpleasant scenarios. But it is not the case that we feel with Ethiopia's airport. The time is 8 o'clock in the morning. I have to wait here for some more time to catch my next flight to Tanzania. My next flight is at 10:30 a.m. This airport is the main hub of Ethiopian Airline. Ethiopian Airlines have its services to almost all parts of Africa. And they also have many services in Europe and Asia as well. We can see duty-free shops on this side. This simple and elegant dress is what we see are the traditional dresses of Ethiopian women. I had seen some Ethiopian dance forms with these kinds of costumes. There are shops selling shoes, bags and leather jackets as well. I am just wandering around the airport to kill the time as my next flight to Dar es Salaam will only be after a while. We can see many aircrafts of Ethiopian Airlines in the yard. There are about 80 active big flights on service for Ethiopian Airlines. Ethiopian Airlines have got a great service history and a fruitful success story to tell. The thought of starting an airline service started in 1940s after the establishment of United Ethiopia. The Emperor of Ethiopia, Haile Selassie, was the man behind nation's own airline service. He sought the help of USA and Britain to make this happen. And finally, with the help of USA, on the 21st of December 1945 the Ethiopian Airlines took off its first journey. In the initial phase, the services were only up to 5 destinations with majority of its staffs being from the USA. The airlines were growing time by time even when the Ethiopian nation was stricken with poverty. The professionalism of Ethiopian Airlines is the main reason behind their successful journey. Now they are flying to almost 84 international destinations. While I was thinking about the success journey of Ethiopian Airlines, the announcement for my next flight that I had waited for arrived. Now I am in my flight to Dar es Salaam. Most of the co-passengers have dozed off. We had a tiresome journey yesterday because of the long security checking process in Mumbai airport. The passengers had to wait there for almost 2 to 3 hours mainly because of the insufficient staff strength. The flight just moved on. The flying route from Addis Ababa to Dar es Salaam is displayed on the screen. I have to take some sleep while flying to Tanzania. We have to fly 1,650 kilometers more, which is almost a 3-hour journey through the sky, from Ethiopia, over Kenya, to Tanzania. The flight just took off. The fog is back in action again. Hope it will change soon. The developmental works of Addis Ababa Airport is ongoing under the supervision of Chinese government companies. My seat is near to the aircraft's wing. This wing of the flight is obstructing almost half of my visuals. The flight is directing towards the south. The details of flight are shown on the screen. I am very much engrossed about this virtual map than movies and cartoons. There are flights from Addis Ababa to Nairobi, Juba, Entebbe and many other cities in Africa. Comparing this virtual data with what we see out there from the sky is enjoyable. We are flying above the vast lands of Eastern Africa. Most of my co-passengers are asleep, except the few watching movies. I am a bit concerned about the cloudy atmosphere. If the case continues, then my plans on shooting this Tanzanian trip will get affected. The weather updates of Tanzania showed normal in the internet. Moving on, with an optimized hope. What we are seeing down there like scattered papers are the rooftops of houses in Dar es Salaam. Dar es Salaam is one of the biggest cities in Africa. The city is the commercial capital of Tanzania. The Arabs played a vital role in making this city as a trading hub. The island Zanzibar out of Dar es Salaam was a trading center since 15th century. I had my lunch from the flight itself. Now the sky is clear. We can see villages and small towns down there. The aerial view of the African lands looks pale. But the places are blessed with wonders of nature. Tanzania is the land with historical significance and varied tribe culture. The humankind of Tanzania had faced various events in their life from the past. People from varied communities are living here along with many other native tribes in Tanzania. They believe in the African culture than in any religion. What we are seeing down there is the city of Dar es Salaam. This was a small fishing village since 19th century. The Sultan of Zanzibar Majid bin Zayed made this as a city what we are seeing today and named it as Dar es Salaam. The flight has landed in Julius Nyerere International Airport of Dar es Salaam. The airport is developing and the construction works are going on. The airport is named after the first president of Tanzania. I am deboarding the flight. Moving on to the domestic terminal to catch my next flight. Yellow fever vaccination is mandatory for traveling in Africa. I had the documents of vaccination with me. Moved out of the airport after immigration clearance.
Yes, we'll go.
This man is guiding me to the domestic terminal.
What's your name?
This is Godlove, a taxi driver.
Godlove.
There are no service vehicles for connecting international and domestic terminals. So, I decided to take a taxi. The roof of this terminal is designed in the shape of an acacia tree. The airport is built in 1980s and is developed by Royal Baum Groups of Netherlands. God Love took me to his car. We can find these type of variety names among the new generations of Africa. This is his car and it's a nice one. We moved on to the domestic terminal. He is asking for $30 as the taxi fare. But, I am not sure about the route and the fare. We can see careless bus drivers here on the road. Julius Nyerere International Airport spreads over to a very large area. My next destination is Arusha city, which is at the northern part of Tanzania. Arusha city is nearer to the border of Kenya. The city is near to the famous Mount Meru. The Arusha city has got a great historical significance. I am planning to reach there by evening. This is the domestic airport of Dar es Salaam. This was just 3 kilometers away from where we had landed. I think the taxi fare asked by Godlove is not at all fair. Whatever it is, I decided to move on. This was the old international terminal. These are the check-in counters. Checked into the next flight. They told we can choose the seats of our flight accordingly with the wish. We can see many small aircrafts out there. I am surprised and startled. I can't believe that I will be flying on this toy-looking Cessna aircrafts for the next couple of hours to Arusha. These small single-engine aircrafts are only the ones flying through this airport. For a flash of a second, my thought went on to sleeping in some African forest, and I am truly concerned about it. The reason for my concern is that my flight of this night is above the forest lands of Africa in this small aircraft. We can see chartered airplanes in the yard. Many airline companies are having domestic services from here. Auric Air is the company of which my flight is from. People are getting in and out of the aircraft just like that in a bus or a taxi. I am surprised to see a lady climbing into the airplane through the pilot's door. I am not sure whether she is a pilot or not. My flight is going to take off. The airline staff with yellow jacket guides me and my co-passengers to the flight, and we are following him. Most of the aircrafts in the yard are Cessna airplanes. These Cessna airplanes are comparatively cheap and can accommodate 14 passengers including the pilots. This is our aircraft for the journey. The luggage cabin is in the back side of this aircraft. The door itself is the stair for the entry. The seating arrangements are spacious than an SUV. My seat is near to the window. An airline staff is checking and verifying data of the flight. A junior pilot entered into the cabin, and after some time the senior pilot too came in. I am sitting just behind the cockpit. Even though the flight had drained out my confidence, the initial impressions on the pilots gave me some hope. The flight is about to take off.